Let's pay homage to the Buddha, the fully enlightened one. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I will pay respect to the Buddha, the fully enlightened one, reciting one of the stanza, what I use to recite whenever I give a talk in my language, also in English. Buddha Bodhaya Titi Titanto Yo Dhammataya Sa Dhammataya Tanto Dhammantino Adranaya Sa Nibuddho Nibbanataya Tan Lokatrananami Lokatrano Lokatumai Kodaya Tesu Pito Mudo Yo Nago Buddha Naga Miro Yadya Sindi Atutachin Yaswa Pyadi Buddha Tisali Kuro Raito Tenti Yendo Mui Pye Bodhaya Sachaita Dubu Rukudu Ten Lenti Jabasi Chinchu Galaga Tando Kuroga Bin Chiro Mui Pye Dhammataya Sachaita Dubu Rukudu Meyen Yen Jasi Chingalaga Tando Kuranga Vinkilita Ukukate Nido Mui Pye Dhammataya Sachaita Dubu Rukudu Meyen Kilita Punyin Jabasi Chingalaga Tino Atandayana Wangarachangu Kudan Tocha Kuroda Yaupi Pye Dharanaya Sanguro Tatu Chataitu Runi Kutawan Avekando Kudan Tocha Yau Jabasi Jinchu Galaga Nibuddho Kilita Prenipan Winsan Yote Kuroda Yin no Mui Pye Nibbanataya Sakuro Tatu Venidu Roku Kate Ninjabase Jinchu Galaga Dhamma Nizin Lina Dhammasako Didi Digruna Shita Midapye Hocharo Mukhe Abei Lokatrena Lokadumba Ikusaya Tasu Pito Mudo Tanaga Buddha Naga Miro Yadya Sindi Atutatu Myaswa Pyago Nami Namami Kuno Naluto Sum Pyong Pyo Mangu Shoyi Gado Pyano Leso Mu Yue Shiko Nyopai Myaswa Pya Myaswa Pya Happy New Year. On the New Year day, I'm going to give a talk. The name of the talk is How to Fulfill Parami in in the daily life, in our daily life. You know how to fulfill paramis in your daily life? Who need to fulfill parami? Those who want to make an end of suffering, those who want to realize the Dhamma, those who want to know the truth as they really are, those who want to make an end of suffering, they all need to fulfill paramis. Those who have enough parami, good parami, they can realize the Dhamma in this very life. Those who have enough parami to realize Nibbana in this very life, making right effort, with right concentration, they can realize Nibbana. For those who didn't come into this existence with enough parami, everybody needs to fulfill parami in this very life. Not only in this very life, but also in the future too. As you all know, there are three types of individuals who attain supreme Nibbana. You know who they are? No answer. There are three types of individuals who attain supreme bliss, Nibbana, the deathless. Do you know who they are? The Buddha, the Pacceka Buddha, and the disciples Arahant. Who is the Buddha? Who is Samma Sambuddha Buddha? And who is Pacceka Buddha? And who is disciples Arahant? How can they attain the supreme bliss, Nibbana? This is what we all need to know. For about the Samma Sambuddha Buddha, they translate it into omniscient Buddha, perfectly enlightened one, or fully enlightened one. He self-enlightened without the aid of any teachers. He became a Buddha. For about Pacceka Buddha, solitary enlightened Buddha. Do you like this translation? Because some may translate it into private Buddha. Private Buddha, silent Buddha, solitary enlightened Buddha. Which one do you like? Maybe solitary enlightened Buddha is the best of all, I think. Why do they translate it into? I will explain later. So, Pacceka Buddha, solitary enlightened one, also self-enlightened one, without the aid of any teachers. What is the difference between these two self-enlightened Buddhas? fully enlightened one and solitary enlightened one. What is the difference of their qualities? Only when the omniscient Buddha, the fully enlightened one, appeared in the world, he could teach to those come into this existence with good Parami, to enlighten as he enlightened. It is the qualities of this omniscient Buddha. Only the omniscient Buddha can teach us how to enlighten, how to make an end of suffering. When the Pajjika Buddha, solitary Buddha, appeared in the world, even though he is self-enlightened one, in this time he could not teach anybody how to enlighten. He can't make anybody enlighten as he enlightened. This is the difference between these two Buddhas. Why couldn't the Pajjika Buddha teach the way leading to Nibbana? Why could the omniscient Buddha teach the way leading to Nibbana? It is explained in the commentary. It is said that the enlightenment of the Pajjika Buddha, solitary Buddha, is like a person who is mute. So he dreamed. Can he say what he dreamed? What he dreamt? Because he is mute. Do you know what is mute? Cannot speak. So, even though he dreamed, he could not tell us what he dreamt. Because of this reason, even though he enlightened, he is self-enlightened one, he cannot express into words what he has enlightened. He cannot express into words what he had penetrated. Only the omniscient Buddha appeared in the world. He can express and he can explain what he had penetrated into words. That for all of us, only when we hear the explanation into words, we can understand, we can follow, and we can practice. For that reason, in time of private Buddha or solitary Buddha, nobody can enlighten as he enlightened. Only when omniscient Buddha appeared in the world, there appeared many who could enlighten in the past, who can enlighten in the present, and who will enlighten in the future too. So I've told all of you already two types of individuals. The last type is disciple arahant. They are those who enlighten after following the instructions of the Buddha and practicing following the words of the Buddha according to their Parami, past Parami and present effort, they enlighten. For those disciples, for those arahants, they can teach others. What is the reason? Because they follow the words of the Buddha and they instructed others following the words of the Buddha. That's why, even though Pacceka Buddha, a self-enlightened Buddha, solitary Buddha could not teach the way leading to Nibbana, the disciples of the omniscient Buddha can teach the way leading to Nibbana. For all of us, those who are teaching all of you, why can we teach the way leading to Nibbana? The reason is because of listening the words of the Buddha. The way leading to Nibbana appear in the world only because of the omniscient Buddha. This is not of any person's ability. It is just of the omniscient Buddha. For that reason, when we are going to teach the way leading to Nibbana, if we don't teach the way taught by the Buddha, how do you think? Is it possible for all of you to realize the Dhamma as they really are? Impossible. If you don't answer me, I give answer all of it. Impossible. That's why we all need to be very careful. If we want to do missionary work, or if we want to do for the good of others, in other words, if we want to teach others to realize the Dhamma as they really are, learn what the Buddha taught, follow what the Buddha taught, teach what the Buddha taught. Only then you will be true disciples of the Buddha. You can be called a truly son of the omniscient Buddha. You are the one who is maintaining the teachings of the Buddha. You are the one who is doing for the good of oneself and others. You are the one who can help others to attain Nibbana too. That's why, to be able to follow and listen to the words of the Buddha, the instructions of the Buddha, the teachings of the Buddha, we must practice humbleness. If we are not humble, we will do the way we want. We will say what we want, feeling proud of oneself. That's why, humble, this is important, to maintain the teachings of the Buddha. So, when the Buddha appeared in the world, he teaches the Dhamma, mostly for the realization of the Dhamma in this very life. But who can realize the Dhamma, who can realize Nibbana in this very life, as I told all of you? Those who have fulfilled Parami in their past. Those who have fulfilled good Parami, those who come into this existence with good Parami, enough Parami, they can make an end of suffering. They can realize Nibbana in this very life. So, in this audience, there may be some, those who have fulfilled good Parami. There may be some, those who need to fulfill Parami. For that reason, you all need to know how to fulfill Paramis in your daily life. Whatever you do, in whichever condition, if you know how to fulfill Paramis, you can do too. If you talk about fulfilling the Parami, sometimes we think very special. Do you know what the Paramis are? What are the Paramis? What are the perfections? No answer. Paramis are the noble qualities to be fulfilled. The Paramis are noble qualities to be fulfilled. What are they? How many Paramis are there? Thank you. There are 10 Paramis to be fulfilled. Those who want to realize the Dhamma, those who want to make an end of suffering. You want to make an end of suffering? So, what do you need to do? You need to fulfill Parami. So there are 10 Paramis, 10 perfections. Can you tell me what they are? The perfections of giving, the perfections of morality, the perfections of renunciation, the perfection of wisdom, the perfection of energy, perfection of patience, of forbearance, perfections of truthfulness, the perfection of determination, the perfection of loving kindness, and the perfections of equanimity. Are they true? So, you may remember the day our Bodhisattva, Hamid Sumedha, received the definite prophecy from whom? I am examining my disciples whether they know or not. Buddha Dipangara. The time he received the definite prophecy from the Dipangara Buddha, the Buddha Dipangara. After receiving, he knew himself. I am a Bodhisattva. I am a Buddha to be. Buddha said, after 4 incalculable and 100,000 eons, he is going to be a Buddha. When he knew himself, I am a Bodhisattva, he reflected the sequence of the Paramis to be fulfilled. Nobody taught him. Nobody, without the aid of anybody, he reflected it. It is the quality of the Bodhisattva. So all the sequence of the Paramis to be fulfilled appeared in his mind. So as I told all of you, the perfection of giving, the perfection of morality, the perfection of renunciation, and so on. Why do Paramis need to be fulfilled in this sequence, in this order? There is a reason. There is a reason. If you want to fulfill Parami in your daily life, you need to know how important this sequence is. Only then you can fulfill Paramis in your daily life, whatever you do. Even when you speak, even when you say something to someone, you can fulfill 10 paramis. Do you know it? Do you know? No answer. How to do? Those who don't give any answers. Do you know? Even though when you speak, you can fulfill 10 paramis. What I mean, even when you speak, when you tell, when you say something, you can fulfill 10 paramis. This is what you all need to know. Today, I will explain how to fulfill them. Only then, whatever you do in whichever condition, if you want to fulfill Parami, you can train your mind to be able to fulfill Parami for the rest of your life. First of all, I will explain the way the Buddha taught, and then I will explain how to fulfill Paramis even when you say something to someone. So firstly, Buddha taught us to fulfill Parami. The first Parami is a perfection of giving. Why did the Buddha taught? Why did the Buddha teach the first Parami as giving? Among all Paramis, giving is common to all beings. Giving is common to all beings. Since even ordinary people practice giving, because it is the least fruitful and because it is the easiest to practice. What do you think? Which is more easier for you to practice giving and morality? Normally, when we were layperson, all of us understand giving is easier to do than practicing morality. Because of this reason, when the Bodhisattvas Sumedha reflected the sequence of the Paramis, the first Parami that appeared in his mind is perfection of giving, which is the most easiest one to do, which is common to all beings, and which is the least fruitful. Giving is stated first, because giving assists the development of virtue. Giving assists the development of virtue. After that, Buddha taught perfection of morality, of perfection of virtue. Giving accompanied by virtue is abundantly fruitful and beneficial. what is abundantly fruitful and beneficial. Giving accompanied by virtue is abundantly fruitful and beneficial. When we are going to do giving, we need things to offer. We need receiver. We need intention to offer. How many conditions do we need? 3 conditions. Things to offer, volition to offer, and receiver. Even though we have things to offer, if we have no intention to offer, we can't make an offering. Even though we have things to offer, and even though we have intention to offer, if there is no receiver, we can't make an offering too. Only when these 3 conditions are met at the time, we can make offering. In other words, we can fulfill the perfection of giving. To make giving give abundant and fruitful results, we need to support, we need to assist it with perfection of virtue, perfection of morality. Without practicing morality, if you make an offering, it cannot give abundantly fruitful and beneficial results. Because of this reason, Buddha taught virtue immediately after giving. Giving accompanied by virtue is abundantly fruitful and beneficial. As you all know, giving is easier to do compared to perfection of morality. Also, when you want to do giving, as I told all of you, you all need 3 conditions. For that reason, you need to make money, you need to collect things, you need to find receivers, and you need intention. Perfection of morality, it gives abundantly fruitful and beneficial results. If you make an offering based on morality, it will give its result abundantly. You may notice, especially for foreigners, those who live in the foreign country, developed country, many people, they feed dogs in their home. Compared to the dog in Myanmar, they could get more better food than the dogs here. Do you agree? Do you agree with me?
Yes.
What is the reason? in their past, they have made an offering. They have practiced giving. Because of this reason, when it gives its result, they get better food. Do you want to get better food as a dog? Giving can give its result. Abundant wealth. When you were born as humans or deva. And also, when we are going to be reborn as dogs, also we can get abundant food too. But I believe you don't want to be reborn as a dog. You want to be reborn in the good realms. If it is so, you all need to practice morality. If you practice giving, accompanied by virtue, when it gives its result, you will be reborn, you are going to be reborn in the good realms, and because of giving, you will become a worthy person, a rich man. So to be able to reborn in a good existence, we all need to fulfill, or we all need to practice the morality. Just with giving, we are not sure. So with virtue, with the perfection of virtue, if we make an offering, so it will give both results, wealth and but in a good range. Another thing, we have no right conditions all the time to do offerings. As you know, we all need three conditions, that we have no right conditions all the time to do giving. But if you practice the perfection of morality, you know you can make giving too. There are three types of gift. Material gift, and giving of a gift of harmlessness, and a gift of Dhamma. Amisa dana, Abhaya dana, Dhamma dana. Amisa dana is material gift. Abhaya dana is a gift of harmlessness. Or some we translate it into a gift of fearlessness. Dhamma dana, it is a gift of Dhamma. So if you practice morality, you give a gift of harmlessness. Suppose if you practice 5 precepts, you refrain from killing. You refrain from stealing. You refrain from sexual misconduct. You refrain from telling lies. You refrain from taking intoxicants. Because of refraining from these wrong actions, we give a gift of harmlessness. If you compare to a gift of materiality, this is superior. It is what you can give all the time if you are practicing morality in your whole life. So that's why if you practice perfection of morality, you can give this gift, a gift of harmlessness. You refrain from killing, you give a gift of harmlessness. You refrain from stealing, you give a gift of harmlessness. You refrain from sexual misconduct, you give a gift of harmlessness, of fearlessness. Because of refraining from telling lies, you give a gift of harmlessness. Because you give, because you refrain from taking intoxicants, you give a gift of harmlessness. As I told all of you, without the existence of virtue, giving cannot give abundant results. That's why Buddha taught giving, Buddha taught virtue immediately after giving. So to make giving and perfection of morality stable and strong, we need the assist of another perfection. What is that one? The perfection of renunciation. Because of this reason, Buddha taught the third perfection, perfection of renunciation. Without the assist of this, we cannot really do perfection of giving, perfection of morality. What is your understanding? What is renunciation? Giving up attachment to sensual pleasure. This is one type of renunciation. Another one is living ordained life. So now, all of you are practicing here. So some are ordained ones, some are not. However, all of you renounced. Your full-faith renunciation. All of you are now here, all of you are fulfilling the perfections of virtue. Because of this reason, you are giving a gift of harmlessness. That's why you are fulfilling the perfection of giving to. Do you know it? Not only when you give a gift of materiality, you fulfill the perfection of giving. Because of practicing morality purely, you're giving every day, all the time. A gift of harmlessness. But without the support of the perfection of renunciation, you cannot make giving, you cannot practice morality purely too. Why is it so? As I told all of you, renunciation is giving up the attachment to the sensuality, sensual pleasure, all the living things and non-living things. If you attach to things you possess, can you give? Can you make a giving? That's why without the assist of the perfection of renunciation, you cannot fulfill the perfection of giving really. That's why only when you get the assist of the perfection of renunciation, you can give up things that you possessed. That's why renunciation purifies your fulfillment of giving. Also, if you don't practice renunciation, you cannot really practice the perfection of morality. Why is it so? Do you know why it is so? What is practicing of morality? Killing, what is killing? Why do we kill? Sometimes because of greed, we kill. But in time of killing, with anger. Sometimes we want something, we desire something. When we don't get what we want, we are very angry with it. Because of that anger, sometimes we kill. That's why the cause is greed. Because of greed, because of desire to get something, when you don't get, you become very angry and then you kill. Why do we steal? Because of greed, attachment, craving and desire. Why do people commit sexual misconduct? Because of craving, because of attachment, because of lust, because of passion. In other words, because of greed, because of attachment. Why do we tell lies? Sometimes because of greed, sometimes because of worry. Worry is rooted in anger. Whenever greed and anger arise, delusion accompany, delusion follow. So what? People, they tell lies because of, sometimes because of anger, because of greed, because of attachment, because of fear, because of fear of losing something. Fear of losing rooted in anger. That's why, who can practice morality pure? Okay, consider. The last one. Why do people take intoxicants? Sometimes because of greed, sometimes because of attachment, sometimes because of craving, sometimes because of anger too. So the cause of committing all the wrong actions are defilements. As I told all of you, renunciation means giving up attachment to living things and non-living things. To be able to practice perfection of morality, you need to give up attachment. You need to give up your anger. You need to give up your delusion. You need to give up your pride. You need to give up your fear. You need to give up your worry. Only then you can purely practice morality. For that reason, without the help of perfection of renunciation, nobody can practice perfectly the perfection of morality, perfection of giving to. That's why these are very important sequences. Without this, that cannot be practiced really. Without the help of the second one, the first one cannot be practiced the way it can give abundant results. So renunciation is very, very important. If you don't renounce your attachment, if you don't give up attachment to all the things, living things and non-living things, if you don't give up attachment to your instructions or defilements, you will do, we will do all the wrong actions. For that reason, we cannot fulfill perfections, Paramis, successfully. After perfection of renunciation, what did the Buddha teach? Perfection of wisdom. Without the help of perfection of wisdom, we cannot practice giving, morality and renunciation really. Why do we give? Because we know the benefit of giving. True? Why do we practice morality? Because we know the benefit of practicing morality. Why do we give up attachment to living things and non-living things? And why do we live ordained life? Because we know the benefit of it. That's why without understanding the reality, the benefit of all the formal perfections, can we practice successfully? Impossible. That's why perfection of wisdom support the formal three perfections to be fulfilled successfully. Do you see it? No answer. Very good audience. Maybe they are deeply listening, I think. They only want to listen, not to give an answer. Okay, now you understand. Why does the Buddha teach, or why did the Buddha teach perfections in this order, in this sequence? So without the existence of the perfection of wisdom, we cannot successfully fulfill the formal three perfections. The more we understand the benefit of giving, the more we understand the practicing of morality, the more we understand the giving up of the practicing of renunciation, the more we can do successfully. That's why perfection of wisdom is taught as the fourth perfection. What is the fifth one? Eh? Perfection of energy. In Pali, Viriya. So without the assist or without the help of perfection of energy, how do you think? Can we make giving? Can we practice virtue, morality? Can we do renunciation successfully? No. No. To make an offering, we need to make an effort. With the understanding the benefit of giving, even though we have understanding, if we don't make an effort, we cannot successfully do. That's why we need the help of the perfection of energy to do giving, even though we have the right understanding, the benefit of giving. In the same way for practicing morality, even though we know the benefit of practicing morality, if we don't make much effort to refrain from killing, to refrain from stealing, to refrain from taking intoxicants, to refrain from committing sexual misconduct, to refrain from telling lies, how can we successfully fulfill this perfection of morality? That's why, without the help of perfection of energy, no one can fulfill the formal three perfections. Giving up attachment, or giving up defilements, giving up the instructions of the defilements to do wrong things is renunciation. To be able to give up attachment, or to be able to give up the instructions of the defilements, we need to make much effort. To purify our morality, we need to make much effort. Only then we can successfully practice the perfection of morality. So without the help of perfection of effort, perfection of energy, you know now how can you fulfill Parami. How important these sequences are. These sequences. What is another perfection? The sixth one, right? Yeah. Perfection of forbearance or perfection of patience. Because of perfection of energy. As I told all of you, to be able to practice giving successfully, and to be able to practice morality successfully, to be able to practice renunciation successfully, we need to make much effort. Whoever make much effort, whenever we make much effort, we feel tired. Mentally tired, physically tired too sometimes. At that time, we need the support of perfection of patience. Without perfection of forbearance, how can we continue our practice? How can we successfully fulfill in the practice of perfection? That's why patience, the perfection of patience, is taught immediately after the perfection of energy. As the Buddha said, patience is the way to Nibbana. Are you the one who practice patience? Or are you not the one? If you want to realize Nibbana, you must be the one who practice the perfection of patience. Only then you can purify your morality, you can practice formal 5 perfections. Even though you have the understanding, you know how benefit giving is, how benefit practicing morality is, how benefit practicing renunciations. Even though you make an effort, you make much effort, if you have no patience, you cannot do. You cannot maintain your goodness. If we talk about maintaining something, we should talk about to maintain our goodness. To be able to maintain our goodness, we all need to practice patience. Patience means accepting. The characteristic of patience is acceptance. Very beautiful. Accepting both desirable and undesirable. It is the perfection of patience. You accept both desirable and undesirable, No. No. You accept only desirable, not undesirable. How can you practice successfully along the way fulfilling the Paramis? That's why perfection of patience is the way to Nibbana. The characteristic of patience is acceptance. Accepting both desirable and undesirable. We all want to accept only desirable. We all feel very angry when we encounter undesirable, which can make you more mature because of desirable or undesirable. You see? Undesirable things make you more mature. That's why undesirable thing is what we should welcome. Because of praising, if you are proud of yourself, you become immature. Okay? That's why the more we are blaming, the more we are complaining, we become more mindful. We reflect ourselves, what is wrong with me? What did I have? What did I do? What I had done? Is there anything wrong with me? Or they are just complaining without any reason? You need to reflect. You need to investigate. You need to analyze. You need to be more mindful. You need to train yourself more. You need to be careful. That's why undesirable thing is very, very good for all of us. Okay? Very, very difficult to accept, but we all need to practice. We all need to accept it. We need training. We need training. Only when we understand, we are very happy to practice, even though it hurts us. Even though it is difficult, we try. We try. That's why having no right understanding leads to a misery. Misery of life, here and hereafter. That's why right understanding can shine or can tell us how to live a better life. Now you understand how important the practice of patience. What is another perfection? Perfection of truthfulness. How can we fulfill perfection of truthfulness? Telling the truth. Fulfilling or doing as we promise. Is there any condition or any occasion in your life you didn't fulfill as you promised to someone? If you don't do so, you are not fulfilling this perfection. Whenever you are going to say something, say the truth. Whether they like it, whether they don't like it, doesn't matter. Important thing is to tell the truth, to be able to fulfill perfections of truthfulness. Another thing, only when we know the natural law of the Dhamma directly, natural law of Dhamma. The Dhamma is void of beings, void of soul, void of beings. The natural law of Dhamma. If you have this understanding that there is no beings, there is only natural law of Dhamma, which is void of soul and beings, at the time you can practice perfection of truthfulness. I will give an example, telling one of the story of our Bodhisattva. This story is told of the Bodhisattva in the existence of a monkey. He saved a Brahmin who had fallen into a deep chasm. Right? Chasm. Chasm, yeah. C-H-E-S-M. I will repeat it. In the existence of a monkey, he saved a Brahmin who had fallen into a deep chasm. Exhausted by strenuous exertion to bring the man out of the danger, the Bodhisattva trustingly fell asleep on the lap of the man whom he had saved. With an evil thought of eating the flesh of his rescuer, the wicked man hit the monkey's head with a stone. Without showing any anger and patiently bearing the injury on his head, the Bodhisattva continued his effort to save the man from the danger of wild beasts. He showed him the way out of the forest by drops of blood that fell as he jumped from tree to tree. Can you do? Very, very difficult. Why did the Bodhisattva, even though he was a monkey in that life, could do so? Because of understanding natural law of Dhamma. Because of understanding natural law, which is void of beings. Natural law of Dhamma means understanding cause and effect. If our Bodhisattva didn't understand natural law, which is only cause and effect, he cannot do this. For him, he understood in this way. Because I saved him. Even though I saved his life, he endangered me. But Bodhisattva didn't see in this way. He just see there is cause and effect only. Because of his wickedness, because of his torturing, he could practice patience. Because of practicing patience, because of fulfilling the perfections of patience, understanding the benefit of it, I'm going to become a Buddha in the future. He's the one who helped me the way to become a Buddha. This is natural law. If you see someone as a doer, we can't forgive him. We want to do revenge because we don't see the actual cause. Actual cause is not a person. Actual cause is ignorance and defilement. Because of ignorance and defilement, all the people in the world, they do wrong. They did wrong, they are going to do wrong in the future. If we are recipients of them, and if we don't understand the natural law, we hold grudge on them. And we find the opportunity, or we find a chance to do revenge towards them. When we understand the natural law, which is vital being, which is only cause and effect, we can maintain our goodness. That's why understanding the truthfulness is very, very important for all of us to maintain our goodness along the way leading to Nibbana. Without understanding the truthfulness, very, very, very difficult for us to practice patience, to endure, to practice forbearance, to tolerance too. Do you get what I mean? That's why you all need to pay attention on the truthfulness, which is void of being, void of soul, void of person, only cause and effect. Who do wrong? Who does wrong? Who is wrongdoer? Are you the one who do wrong? Who does wrong? Who did wrong? Who is going to do wrong? No, you are not the one who is the doer. Only the ignorance and defilements that cause you, make you do wrong. That's why if you see someone do wrong towards you, if you find the real cause, actual cause, you can forgive him easily. How pity they are if they have done wrong. We don't need to punish anybody, those who have did something wrong. Their wrong actions punish them themselves. If it is possible, if we have noble mind, instead of taking some actions, we should educate them. My dear friend, you should not do so. If you do in this way, you are going to suffer one day. You are not the one who did this only because of ignorance, only because of instructions of defilement. Because you don't bring under control your defilements, you do wrong. If you can bring your defilements under control, you will not do wrong. You are not the doer. You are just the one who received the instructions of the defilements without bringing under control them. True? I want to share all of you one thing. It is not because we are being born as humans we are wise, we are stupid. It is just because we bring our defilements under control, we become a wise person. It is not because we are being born as a human, we become a stupid. Just because we can bring our defilements and we can't bring our defilements under control, we become a stupid. True? That's why the cause is defilement. The cause is ignorance, not knowing the truth. Those who don't penetrate the Four Noble Truths are covered, their mind is covered with ignorance. That's why they may do wrong. Because of wrongdoing, they are going to suffer in the future. That's why we don't need to give any punishment. Buddha never gave any punishment to any bhikkhus. He just shared bhikkhus. If you have done this wrong, if you have done wrong something, this is a way to cure. He never directly gave any punishment. If we are honest, we can listen the instructions of the Buddha to purify our morality, of our all the wrong actions too. That's why, to be able to practice patience, to be able to practice all the perfections, we all need to see the actual cause, which is beyond our seeing. We see beings, we see men, we see women, we see them as a cause. We don't see the actual cause. If we don't see the actual cause, how can we live peacefully? How can we practice patience? How can we make maturity of our mind and life? Now you see how important the sequence is. What is another perfection?
Determination.
Determination. Perfection of determination. Even though you know the benefit of all the perfections, even though you practice patience, even though you know the truthfulness, if you are not determined, now you see the bodhisattva, the monkey, who practices perfections of determination, even though another person harm him, destroy him, he continued his action until it has been done successfully. He saved him the way out of the forest by drops of blood that fell as he jumped from tree to tree. That's why, without the support of the perfection of determination, we cannot practice all the formal perfections successfully. That's why Buddha taught perfection of determination immediately after perfection of truthfulness. We must be determined. When we practice meditation also, we must be very determined. We need to try to get out of samsara. What is another perfection?
Loving kindness.
Loving kindness. How do you think? Can we fulfill Parami harming others? Can we fulfill Parami harming oneself and others? No answer. What is your answer?
Impossible.
Impossible. Well, who can fulfill Parami? Those who know how to do for the benefit of oneself and others are those who can fulfill Paramis. That's why without doing for the good of oneself and others, it is no way to fulfill the Paramis. That's why after perfection of determination, immediately after perfection of determination, Buddha taught the perfection of loving kindness. Loving kindness is doing for the welfare of others. Giving, doing for the good of others. Practicing morality, giving a gift of harmlessness. Not only to others, not only to oneself, but also to others. If we care mosquitoes. We see the death of mosquito. You see only the result, which is a death of mosquito. How do you think? Can we harm others without harming ourselves? Can we harm others without harming ourselves? We can't. If you kill mosquito, you see the death of the mosquito. Because of that killing, one day you are killed by others. You will be killed by others. That's why you harm yourself. Anytime you harm others, you harm yourself. And that's why we can't harm others without harming ourselves. That's why whenever you disturb others, you disturb yourself. Can you disturb others without disturbing yourself? Can you? Do you feel happy without making other people feel happy? No. If you want happiness, you need to make other people happy. That's why this is the law. This is action and reaction. This is natural law. Whether Buddha taught, whether Buddha didn't teach, it is all the time true. That's why without disturbing others, we can't disturb ourselves. Sorry? Sorry. You know. Without harming ourselves, we can't harm anybody. Without disturbing ourselves, we can't disturb others. That's why we all need to practice loving kindness to do for the happiness of others and for the happiness of ourselves. What is metta, loving kindness? Metta is doing for the good of others. Whenever you want to do for the good of others, if you just emphasize what you want to do, it is not real metta. We all need to emulate the Buddha. Every early morning, Buddha surveyed the world with Buddha's eye, who I should teach the Dhamma today. Someone appeared in the Buddha's eye because of their past Parami. How far it is? Buddha go there. How far it was, Buddha went there. How many miles far away? He went there for the benefit of him. Sometimes he saw that that person is going to take refuges in triple jail. What was he going to take? He was going to take refuges in triple jail. Not very high. Even for this, knowing the benefit of this, Buddha went there and teach the Dhamma. After listening to the Dhamma, that person take refuges in the triple jail. Metta is doing for the good of others what they can, not what we want. If we emphasize doing what we want, if others people can't do it, it is just fulfilling our desire only. We are not considering what other people can do. That's why actual metta, real metta means doing for the good of others what they can, not what they can't. Sometimes Buddha went to see someone because Buddha saw that he is going to practice 5 precepts. Sometimes Buddha saw someone is going to attain first pattern fruition. Buddha taught to such extent only because Buddha knew that he could do such thing. This is metta. If we emphasize doing something what we want, telling, expressing, this is my metta, this is my loving kindness. No, If you do so, there will be conflict even between parents and son, between friends. That's why, if we don't want any conflict, develop true loving kindness, doing for the good of them what they can. Only then you can maintain your goodness. You will not be angry with them too. If they don't do what you want to do, what do you feel? You feel angry. You don't want to do for the good of me anymore. He doesn't listen to me. I will not give a hand anymore. I will give up. I will neglect. This is not metta. Okay? This is what you did based on your desire. Many parents also, they show in this way, this is my metta, you must follow. No, no, no. Please don't do in this way. Also, I will not do to all of you. I will do what you can only. If you come and report me, I will listen. Sometimes I will suggest you please come and interview. If you don't come, I will not say anything. Because you are not willing to do. That's why I want to be happy with my action, all my actions. However, regular interview is important. So now you know how to practice perfections of loving kindness. What is the last one? Perfections of equanimity. Without the help of, without the support of, without the assist of perfections of equanimity, you cannot really develop loving kindness towards others. In other words, you cannot do for the good of others if you don't develop equanimity towards yourself and others. So what is the perfection of equanimity? Equanimity has a characteristic of promoting the aspect of neutrality. Its function is to see things impartially. Because equanimity purifies loving kindness. In order to show the indifference one must maintain towards the wrongs inflicted by others when one is providing for their welfare. Very important. When we are going to do for the good of others, if we don't practice the perfection of equanimity, we can't do for the long run. Why? Even though we are doing for the welfare of many, among them, those who receive my loving kindness and my well-being, my good actions, they complain, they insulted me, they blame me, in front and behind me. At that time, if we don't understand the perfection of truthfulness, which is void of being, void of person, void of soul, only there is cause and effect. We can't continue doing for the good of them. We must make ready when we are going to do for the good of others. How to make ready? We may experience both expected things and unexpected things, desirable and undesirable. Everybody expects good response, good reaction when we are going to do for the good of others. If you expect in this way, you will suffer a lot. You cannot maintain your goodness too. you will be arguing with that person too. You will be angry with that person. You will neglect that person too. Equanimity is not neglecting. For example, on the way fulfilling the Parami, or on the way doing for the good of others, we do for the good of a certain person. He didn't accept it, or he is not happy with what I have done or you have done. You should think in this way. He's not ready to accept my action, which is beneficial for him. Because he is not yet mature. Because he didn't understand. That's why, leave him behind. Continue your trip, or continue your thing as you are doing. Continue your journey to Nibbana, whatever you need to do. By doing whatever you need to do, and along the way, one day you will come back. You may see with that person again. If you think now it may be the right time to say it again, please try to say it again. This is equanimity towards him. So loving kindness, supported by, accompanied by equanimity. Only then, only when we develop the perfection of equanimity, we can maintain for the good of, we can maintain our goodness, we can maintain the way we are walking on without feeling and happiness. For that reason, Buddha taught the last perfection is the perfection of equanimity. So without perfection, without practicing the perfections of equanimity, you cannot do giving successfully. Sometimes because of seeing the fault of receiver, you want to give up. You want to give up giving. At that time, understanding the benefit of giving with the perfections of wisdom, understanding the truthfulness which is void of soul and being, which has only cause and effect, developing equanimity towards both desirable and undesirable things, understanding the benefit of all the good actions. You should continue doing your giving, even though you see some fault. You see fault in the receiver, because giving is purified because of giver sometimes. If the one who gives is pure, even though receiver is impure, it can give good results too. So understanding law of karma, understanding truthfulness, you need to develop the equanimity towards oneself and others. Now you understand how important the sequence of the perfections taught by the Buddha. Without the help of one, without the help of one after another, we cannot really fulfill the perfection. I have intended to explain, even though when you say something you can fulfill 10 paramis, but I think really long time. Okay, I think I should stop here. Any question?
In the Buddha life, he fulfilled the perfection of giving in the last life.
What do you mean?
Because Sayadaw said the system of perfection is important, but the Buddha fulfilled the perfection of giving in his life of Vipassana.
Sequence here means not related to existences, related to when we are going to do giving. Without the assist of morality, we cannot get the abundant result. Without the help of the perfection of realization, we cannot really give up. This is the reason. Any existence, we can do anything. But with the assist of this, you can successfully do. Otherwise you can't. Okay?
Sayadaw, I still cannot differentiate between Kanti and Upekkha. I always thought that Upekkha is related to the feeling where this is not too happy, too sad. But with your explanation just now, it's more, for me, it's more to Kanti than Upekkha. Can you please give another example? What is the difference between the Kanti and the Upekkha? Thank you.
So patience has the characteristics of acceptance. I told all of you. Its function is to endure the desirable and undesirable. So if we don't develop equanimity towards desirable and undesirable, we cannot practice patience too. But another way we can understand the perfections of equanimity. Karma is our heir. We are heir of our karma. We are heir of our karma. Karma is our friend. Karma is our refuge. So when meditators practice Brahma Vihara, for sublime abiding, at that time they need to practice loving kindness, metta, compassion, karuna, sympathetic joy, mudita, and equanimous mind towards equanimity, which is upekkha. However, we are going to do for the good of others. For example, we read metta, may he be well and happy. This is metta. However, we want them to be well and happy. However, we want them to be free from suffering, which is karuna, compassion. However, we want them not to be separated from what they possess. They will be according to their karma. This is upekkha. Okay? Even though we are going to do for the good of others with the 9 perfections of loving kindness. Even though we endure when we encounter difficulty. Even though we want to continue helping, then many times or sometimes they cannot be as we wish. They cannot be as we want.